Okay, so after I posted this video on YouTube, the one where I talked about abortion, responding to Matt Walsh, I received a video on Discord, someone telling me that this video is going to change my mind about abortion. And I said to take a look at it, and no, it did not change my mind, and it actually solidified my argument, and I'm going to explain why. So let us go through it.
Though, as a counter to that, I wanted to say I noticed a lot of your sources you seem to Google, so that kind of goes into my topic of like what makes you qualified to talk about this if you Googled it.
I say
like, everything on the news is accurate,
all of
I
my
guess.
sources are Googleable because you don't trust what I have to say. So when I talk about, oh, that's Huffington Post, go to Huffington Post. Google who has better sex. Married people who are religious. If you want to know the medical studies that I cited, go to pubnet.gov. They're there. If you want to know what a fetus is, go to Google because dictionary.com pops right up and tells you a fetus is a human being and member of our species.
A fetus is a human being. That's exactly what she just said. Now, if you have watched my previous video, then you know why this is important to my argument. Keep that in mind because we're going to talk about it in the end.
But it's actually very simple in the pro-life movement because what is abortion? What does it do? What does abortion do, ma'am?
It allows women to have the right to choose to move on with their lives and not have to
What happens during an abortion?
have a baby.
What happens during an abortion?
A clump of cells is taken out of the woman's body.
Does a clump of cells have a beating heart?
Well, I'm not a scientist, so honestly, what I will
You
say.
can Google it.
Yeah, okay, so everything on the internet is correct. I'm confused as to, this is sarcasm, by the way.
Ask any abortionist. Ask any abortionist.
Okay.
Ask any abortionist if the fetus they dismembered or they sucked out of existence or they induced a heart attack had a beating heart. They will tell you yes.
Okay, but did they have a conscience? Did they have a mental brain that was fully formed and
So
could make decisions?
So your position on abortion then is you're okay with abortion because of conscience. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm okay with abortion because women have the right to choose whether or not they want to have a baby.
But do you agree that abortion kills a human being?
I gotta say, this woman who's asking the questions doesn't really know what she's talking about either. I mean, I agree with her that abortion should be legal, but the questions she's asking are just dumb, and the logic behind her reasoning is kind of flawed. So I disagree with her as well. You shouldn't abort a child just because they don't have consciousness. It doesn't matter to me if they have consciousness. I will present my argument in the end. But I will say abortion is the termination of a pregnancy. A fetus dies as a result of abortion, but it's not a direct cause of the fetus' death. It's just that the fetus doesn't have any body to rely on anymore, so it dies because it cannot survive outside of the womb. So abortion is the termination of a pregnancy. It's not necessarily the killing of a fetus.
I don't agree that there's any kind of murder in the
Does it end the life of a human being?
It ends the life of cells. It does not end the life of a Yeah, okay, so you're a clump of cells that has been developed over time, but once you leave the vagina, then you're a conscious human.
So you're okay with abortion. So if I'm pregnant, I'm 9 months pregnant, my husband leaves me, I lose my job, and I say, I can't have this baby right now. You're okay at 9 months before the baby leaves my vagina, the abortionist goes in, induces a heart attack, and kills that baby. You have seen nothing like that.
Personally, I cannot speak to every pro-choice person, but personally, 9 months is late enough. However, I still believe, like...
Why is abortion to you wrong at 9 months? Why are you personally against abortion at 9 months?
The fetus is about to come out of the vagina and it's going to become an actual human. It's like almost fully formed. Almost.
Okay, first of all, we know a child is fully formed way before 9 months because have you ever seen a child who's born premature at 25 weeks? They're not malformed, right?
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they have like missing limbs. And
well, that's genetic.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know, like when I had the ultrasound of my child, my 4D ultrasound of my daughter, I wanted to get pictures of what she looked like at 25 weeks. She was fully formed inside of my womb. She didn't just like there's not a magical thing in the birth canal. You're like, oh, now there's a human being. That's location. Your humanity can't depend on your location. 2 inches of the birth canal doesn't change your, you don't magically become a human being because you pass through a woman's birth canal. Because guess what? 2 of my kids never passed through my birth canal. I delivered C-section. Were they not human beings? Next question.
If you have seen my previous video, then you know that I agree with a lot of anti-abortionists, because most abortion arguments that the pro-abortion people present are just terrible arguments, as I've said in my previous video. So if you watch my previous video, you would know that I disagree with most of those arguments, and I have my own argument that I'm about to present. So my argument goes like this. To me, it doesn't matter whether or not you think a fetus is a human being or not. It doesn't matter to my argument. My argument is simply about morality. The question goes like this. Should any human being be allowed to use another human being's body without their consent? It's a simple question that requires a yes or no answer. Should any human being be allowed to use another human being's body without their consent? Yes or no? If your answer is no, then, well, you have a problem there, because you are saying a fetus is a human. So if a fetus is a human being, then you are allowing a human being to use another person's body without their consent. So my question becomes, how is that different from forcing that person to donate a body organ? How is it different from a man using a woman's body without her consent? How is it different? To me, it's not. So if you allow a fetus, which you consider a human being, to use a woman's body without her permission or her consent, then you're essentially saying things like rape should also be allowed, because that's the same. You're essentially using someone's body without their consent. So how is it different? That is my argument. If you want to know more about it, you can contact me on Discord. I will leave my Discord link in the description below, and we can have a discussion about the whole abortion issue if you wish, or a discussion about anything else for that matter. But in this video, I just wanted to address this video because someone told me that this video is going to change my mind, and unfortunately it did not. I do not care about this woman's argument. I find it stupid. If I were her, if I were this girl who asked the questions, I would have asked the simple question that I just asked you. Should any human being be allowed to use another human being's body without their consent? Yes or no? So yeah, that's pretty much my argument. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to think about it really hard, because it's not an easy one to answer. Now, with all that being said, I don't want to do too many abortion videos or too many net watch videos. So I'm just gonna move on to different things in the next videos, and if anything comes up on abortion, I will address it if necessary, but I'm going to focus on other things as well. So with all that being said, thank you for watching this video. I don't want it to be too long. I will see you in the next video. DaniHaiz out. Bye.